In the last few days, we've surprisingly got a lot of interesting tidbits of information detailing Ben Solo's sacking of Luke's Jedi Temple, Luke's Jedi Students, the Knights of Ren, and even something about Snoke, which could explain a lot about his backstory. Although, first of all, I do want to go over Ben's turn to the dark side and where he slaughters Luke's Jedi Padawans at the Jedi Temple, as this actually was recently previewed from Charles Soule's upcoming The Rise of Kylo Ren comic, where we get to see the aftermath of Ben's attack on the temple. And from what we've always believed, it seemed that Ben had killed off all of Luke's Padawans in that process, but this comic reveals that isn't really the case, and there were some that survived that attack, as 3 of Luke's Jedi students were away on a mission when Ben sacked the Jedi Temple, and we even get to see them for the first time ever in canon on how they look like. Of course, at this point we don't know whether these were Padawans or Jedi Knights, but we do know their names being Hennix the Quarren Jedi, Vo being the female Jedi, and Tai as the male Jedi. The 3 of them arrive on the scene in a ship that Soule personally has called to be a T-Wing, and it looks to be a cross between an X-Wing and a Y-Wing. Anyways, they return back to the temple from their mission and find Ben, who tells them that he was attacked by Luke in his sleep and now he's dead. It's insinuated by Ben that he was the one who had killed Luke for doing this, but the surviving Jedi students don't believe him, thinking he wasn't strong enough to defeat a Jedi Master like Luke Skywalker. And this of course angers Ben, who tells them that he's stronger than all of them combined and was the temple's prize student. Tai then attempts to try and talk some reason into Ben, but it looks like that doesn't seem to have any effect. And with Hennix and Vo seeing enough, they take out their blades and try to stop Ben. And it's here that we see Ben's confidence in thinking he could take all 3 of them out by himself. And I guess he can, because seeing as he just took out the entire Jedi Temple, it's within reason then that he should be able to defeat these 3 all by himself. Of course, that's where the preview ends. So whether Ben actually kills the 3 Jedi students or maybe recruits them still remains to be seen, as The Last Jedi made it seem that Ben didn't kill all the students and had some of them join him, so maybe these are the ones that join them, who knows. Either way, I personally think that he probably does end up killing them, kind of almost resembling his grandfather Anakin, who killed every Jedi he could find when he fell to the dark side. But I do think it's awesome that we finally get to see some of Luke's Jedi students in action here. Next, Charles Soule also gave us some information about the mysterious Knights of Ren, who will of course be finally fully revealed in the comic. This is what he had to say about them. They can all use the Force, the dark side of the Force, to varying degrees. They're not as powerful as a Jedi or a Sith, but they can use it when they fight. They have some sort of code, like a motorcycle gang, but it's not elaborate. They're flexible, like all good galactic thugs and scoundrels. They're in it for themselves. Mostly they're just kind of out to live their lives the way they want to live them and take what the galaxy will give them and eat what the dark side sends. So from this we learn some pretty intriguing new details regarding the Knights of Ren. That they're basically a space motorcycle gang, in it for themselves, and most important of all, they can actually use the Force despite not wielding any lightsabers. Of course, Soule also makes a note that they're not as strong as the Jedi or the Sith, at least not individually. If anything, I'm thinking they're maybe on the same skill level or just a tad below the Imperial Inquisitors, but without any lightsabers. And while it's doubtful that we'll be learning their entire history in the Rise of Skywalker, it is for sure guaranteed that we will be seeing that in this comic. Finally, Soule also dropped something very interesting about Snoke, saying that he'll appear in the comic but in a way like we've never seen him before. He said this: "There's an awesome moment towards the end of issue 1 where Ben first meets Snoke, and Snoke is a bit different in this book. And the way he acts towards Ben and the way that Ben is with him is very different than he is in Force Awakens and The Last Jedi, which is on purpose." So yeah, while there aren't any specifics dropped here, it is still fascinating to hear nonetheless. telling us that Snoke will appear and act toward Ben in a way that we've never seen before. I mean, what could that mean? Could Soule be suggesting that Snoke takes an entirely different form in his first encounter with Ben? And that Snoke was Palpatine the entire time but jumping through different bodies or something along those lines? Hard to say. But without a doubt, this comic has certainly piqued my interest. The backstory of Snoke, the Knights of Ren, and Kylo's ascension to the Knights of Ren have always been one of the main pieces of lore that I've been most interested in learning more of. And it's crazy to think that after all this time, we'll finally be able to learn about everything once this comic releases on the 18th next week. But I'm curious to hear what you all make of this. Are the three students Padawans or Jedi Knights? Especially since they were sent off on a mission alone. Does Ben kill or recruit them? What could Soule be referring to regarding Snoke and him appearing in a way that we've never seen him before? Let me know and let's get a conversation going. And as always, be sure to like and share this video, as well to keep it here to Silo for everything on the latest in Star Wars. N7 from Silo, signing out.